Okay, let's dive into this. You know those days that feel like a literal obstacle course? You spill your morning coffee, your computer totally crashes right before a massive deadline, or maybe life just throws a much larger, completely unexpected curveball your way. Look, we all face daily setbacks, but the difference between spiraling into absolute stress and actually managing it, well, it all comes down to one word: resilience. Today, in this explainer, we are unpacking a really fantastic framework from Karina Hampton at WA Mental Health. We're going to build your ultimate, highly practical daily stress toolkit so you can handle whatever life throws at you with just a bit more grace.
Right off the bat, we actually need to clear a major myth up. When we talk about resilience, a lot of people picture this like a motionless robot, right? Someone who just completely ignores stress and pushes through. But that is completely false. As our source points out, resilience is absolutely not about avoiding adversity or shoving your feelings into a tiny box. It's about possessing the actual coping skills to face those challenges head on. It's about feeling the stress, processing it, adapting to the change, and then eventually bouncing back even stronger.
So, to make this super practical for your daily life, we've taken the 8 tools outlined in the WA Mental Health article and organized them into a clear roadmap. We'll start with the resilience reality, then look at shifting your internal mindset, taking proactive steps, building your safety net, and finally, embracing the lifelong journey. Let's get right to it.
Okay, Section 1, the resilience reality, understanding adversity.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference we were just talking about. On one hand, we have what is constantly celebrated in modern hustle culture: toxic positivity, ignoring the bad stuff, and basically avoiding hard emotions at all costs. But true resilience means actually accepting that a situation is difficult. Hey, when you miss out on that promotion or get a flat tire in the pouring rain, you are absolutely allowed to be frustrated. The resilient reality is recognizing that frustration and then smoothly pivoting toward adaptation.
Moving right along to Section 2, shift your mindset, internal tools.
The article provides 4 incredibly powerful tools to fundamentally reframe your internal perspective. If you want to stop feeling like a victim of your daily circumstances, you really need to cultivate optimism, develop flexibility, practice mindfulness, and find meaning and purpose. Let's break these down to see what they actually look like in practice.
First up is cultivating optimism. Now again, this is not about blind, naive positivity where you pretend everything is just sunshine and rainbows. According to the source, real optimism is highly targeted. It is the conscious choice to focus intensely on what is within your control, rather than panicking over what isn't. When a project at work completely derails, a true optimist asks, okay, what can I learn from this? What steps can I take right now to fix my end of it? It empowers you, rather than paralyzing you.
Notice the stark contrast here between rigidity and flexibility. I mean, how often do we get stressed out simply because things didn't go exactly the way we planned them in our heads? The rigid mind completely shatters when plans change. But developing flexibility means embracing uncertainty. It's having the ability to say, okay, plan A is out the window, no big deal, let's look at plan B. By adjusting your expectations as circumstances evolve, you dramatically reduce your daily friction and bounce back much, much faster.
The third internal tool is practicing mindfulness. When stress hits, our brains tend to instantly fast forward to the absolute worst-case scenario. Mindfulness pulls you right back to the present moment. The article recommends some really simple practices here: taking a few deep breaths before firing off a response to an angry email, doing a 5-minute meditation, or just some mindful movement like a short walk. It's really about finding that split second of calm clarity amidst all the chaos so you can respond logically rather than just reacting emotionally. Finally, rounding out our internal mindset tools, we have finding meaning and purpose. When you know your core values and passions, they basically act like a compass during a storm. If you truly understand why you are doing something, whether that's providing for your family or advancing a cause you care deeply about, it gives you the motivation to push through the daily grind. Finding meaning gives you direction and a whole lot of grace when things get tough.
All right, that brings us to Section 3, take proactive steps, actionable strategies.
Now what's really interesting about this slide is how beautifully methodical the approach is. When we are faced with a massive problem, say a huge unexpected financial expense, it feels completely overwhelming. But the source outlines exact steps for developing your problem-solving skills. Step 1, break it down. Don't stare at the whole mountain, just look at the next few rocks in front of you. Step 2, brainstorm solutions. Get creative. And Step 3, take proactive action. Literally taking even one tiny step forward helps you reclaim your sense of control over the situation.
The next proactive step is practicing self-care.
And listen, I know self-care has become a bit of a buzzword lately, often just associated with expensive spa days. But in the context of real resilience, self-care is just basic maintenance. It's prioritizing exercise, engaging in hobbies you actually enjoy, getting enough sleep, and allowing yourself downtime. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? Nourishing your body, mind, and spirit isn't a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement for maintaining the energy you need to cope with life's daily challenges.
Okay, moving to section 4, build your safety net, community and support.
According to WA Mental Health, a critical component of bouncing back from adversity is knowing exactly how and when to lean on others. This breaks down into 2 main areas: building your everyday support network of friends, family, and mentors, and knowing when it's time to seek professional help from therapists and counselors. The source really hits the nail on the head here. They state, building a strong support network provides a sense of belonging and connection, which can bolster resilience. There is just raw power in community. Having mentors who can offer sage advice, or simply having friends who will just sit and listen to you vent after a brutally hard day provides immense emotional support. You are essentially borrowing their strength while you rebuild your own.
And we really must emphasize this final tool, seeking professional help. Sometimes those daily stresses pile up into mountains that are just too heavy to carry alone, or even with friends. Mental health professionals provide a safe, structured space to really explore your feelings and actively build custom coping strategies. It is a highly practical, incredibly proactive tool to use when you are struggling to navigate adversity, all by yourself.
And finally, section 5, the lifelong journey, continuous practice.
So the crucial point is this: building resilience is absolutely not a one-and-done overnight fix. You don't just read an article, watch this explainer, and suddenly become completely immune to stress. No way. As the source concludes, it is a lifelong journey. It requires real dedication, daily practice, and a whole lot of self-awareness. It's a continuous, daily practice of courage and adaptability. Just remember, every dropped cup of coffee and missed deadline is really just another rep in the gym of resilience.
Adversity is inevitable. We know you will face challenges, but you now have a highly practical toolkit to handle them. So, what's it going to be? Will you focus on flexibility today? Will you practice a little mindfulness? Or will you reach out to your support network? Take a moment, pick just one tool right now, and apply it to whatever stressors is currently on your plate. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredibly important topic. Keep practicing, keep adapting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.